Hello, my name is posianadius bernike. So today I'm going to finish my homework of active listening skill tasks. So let's start from part 1. Complete this text. Number 1. I see you eat soup every day at work. Why are you eating soup every day? Number 2. So you cook it and then you just bring it to work every day. Number 3. So I buy meat that's already cut up, usually chicken. Number 4. Some rice, usually brown rice, and then I buy some vegetables. Next, I chop them up and I put them all together in the water until it boils and add some seasoning. Next, I usually add salt and pepper, maybe some garlic, and depending on the type of soup, either maybe some soy sauce or lemon juice. Do you put in the flavoring after you put in the ingredients? Next, I usually eat some right then, and I also put in containers for the week. Next, until it's about room temperature. If I think I will get tired of eating it during the week, then maybe I'll just make enough for 3 or 4 meals. And we're going to part 2. Answer the questions correctly. Number 1. When is Steve going out with Jennifer? They go on a date on Saturday night. Number 2. Where is the movie theater? The movie theater is the second building on the right. It's next to the church. Number 3. What is the favorite restaurant and why does the restaurant become favorite? The Pink Flamingo, because they serve excellent Spanish food. Number 4. Where is the location of the favorite restaurant? The Pink Flamingo is the building just before the river on the left side. Number 5. Retell that conversation using your own words. Describe in detail information about the people talking about. So this conversation was conducted by 2 people named Steve and Renee. Short from Steve, who asked Renee about the cinema, which is near the city center, which is close to the hospital. Renee finds out and says yes. Why does Steve want to know? And apparently, on the previous Monday, Steve asked his girlfriend, Jennifer, for a Saturday night date. Renee is shocked and says that Steve is seeing him a lot lately. Then after that, Renee also explained and gave instruction to Steve so he didn't get lost. The first route that Steve has to take is the Pine Street, then turn left, and the cinema is right next to the church. Steve understands. Then he asks Renee to recommend a good restaurant for him. Renee recommends a restaurant called Pink Flamingo, which serves delicious Spanish food. Then Renee tells the restaurant direction, starting from cinema, then south on Route 2, then drive to Street 3, and there is a parking lot, then turn left on Street 3, then east. And the restaurant is right before the river on the left. Renee also said the restaurant is open 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. but will stay open until midnight on weekends. And it turns out then Steve thought that he had been to the restaurant before. And finally Steve asked were to sell flowers. He thought flowers because he wanted to celebrate Jennifer's birthday. Renai replies that the only flower shop he knows of is in front of the stadium on 2nd Street, and finally at the end, Steve thanks Renee for helping him. And the last one is part 3. So let's start. The story begins with a poor dog who has a master who doesn't take care of him, leaving him to suffer. In the end, this dog couldn't take it anymore. He decided to go. He ran with a sad and broken mood. On the way, he met a sparrow. The bird saw him looking sad and asked, "Why are you so sad, my friend?" The dog answered him, "I am very hungry and have nothing to eat." The sparrow helped him and said, "If only because of that, come with me to the next town. I will find plenty of food for you." Then they set off together and went to town. When they passed the sparrow butcher shop, called the dog to stand there for a while, till the sparrow, looking around him, then picked the first meat on the shelf. Looked carefully around him to see if anyone was watching him. Then he picked up the meat on the edge of the shelf until it finally fell. Then the dog picked it up and rushed him to a corner and ate it all up. Just then, the sparrow said to the dog, "You will get more if you follow me to the next stop. I will get another meat for you." When the dog was eating meat, the sparrow asked again, if this is enough for you now." Then the dog replied, "I already have a lot of meat, but I want to eat bread after this." The sparrow told the dog to follow him and said, "You will get some bread too. Then Sparrow took him to the bakery and picked up the 2 rolls of bread that were lying on the window until the bread fell, because the dog still wanted more bread. So the bird took him to another bakery and took bread for the dog. The bird then asked the dog, "My friend, is that enough?" And the dog said this was enough for him. And they took a short walk out of town and onto the highway, but because of the heat they didn't go very far. The dog is getting tired. He wants to rest for a while, to take a nap. "Okay," replied the sparrow. While the sparrow perched down on the road and then fell asleep. While the dog was sleeping, suddenly came a horseman, pulled by 3 horses and a cargo containing 2 barrels of wine. The bird saw the wagonman not turning away from the road, but toward the place where the dog was sleeping and his troubles, the sparrow loudly ordered Mr. Carter to stop, and if not stop, something bad happened. But Mr. Carter didn't care. Mr. Carter grumbled and then made him angry, and the arrogant wagonman said, "What can you do?" The wagon well hit the dog to death. Beth Crow was screaming, hysterical. "No, you are evil and ruthless and vile killer. Now I will take revenge." Mr. Carter said, "Do bad things help you? Congrats. What bad things are you going to do?" The sparrow started his action. He flew under the incline of the cart without being seen by Mr. Carter, and smashed one of the lids of the cask filled with wine and opened the lid. The wine spilled everywhere. Mr. Carter looked around. There was something dripping. He saw the wine cask filled empty. Mr. Carter saw that how unlucky I am. Yet, said the bird. The bird then picked one of the horse's head to make it rise and kick. Even then, Mr. Carter saw it and took out his axe and aimed and threw at the sparrow, the intention to kill him. But the punch missed because the sparrow flew the avoid axe throwing. The axe hit the poor horse's head instead because the throw was too strong to kill the horse. Mr. Carter shouted again, "I am unlucky. This is not bad enough," replied the sparrow. Then Mr. Carter continued to ride his wagon with the two surviving horses. Did not remain silent. The sparrow flew again under the slope of the wagon and did the same as before, destroying the barrel of wine. Mr. Carter saw it, also took his axe and threw it at the bird. For the second time, the bird managed to escape, and the axe missed the horse's head and fell and died. Mr. Carter shouted again, "Poor little me, poor me." "That wasn't bad enough," said the sparrow. When he got the last horse out of necessity and greed, Mr. Carter killed him with his axe because he couldn't kill the sparrow. He was angry and shouted, "Poor and miserable me." The sparrow didn't care about him. That wasn't enough for him to punish and continue to disturb you in your house. Mr. Carter left his cart and went home full of anger and irritation. When he got some, he talked to his wife about what he was doing. The wine ran out and the horse died. "Really?" "It's bad, my husband." His wife said that a bird had managed to enter our house. The bird brought all the birds to his house. The birds began to destroy and create chaos at Mr. Carter's house. The birds ate all their corn that was in the attic. Mr. Carter and his wife rushed to the attic and saw thousands of bears with a black sparrow in the middle. "I was very unlucky," he exclaimed. "But still not woe," said the sparrow. After everything was destroyed, Mr. Carter did not regret his actions. He was very angry until finally the sparrow was caught. Even though the sparrow had said many times that his actions had destroyed his own life, Mr. Carter did not listen and did not care at all. He was really blind. Filled with anger, he immediately smashed everything with his axe. Then, after the sparrow caught by him, his wife said, "Shall I kill him immediately?" "No, I will eat it," said Mr. Carter. The sparrow waited any longer. He ordered his wife to take an axe and kill the bird he was holding. Carter and made him fall and die at the hands of his own wife. At the end of the story, the sparrow returned to his house quietly and peacefully. Thank you.